Hey everyone, it's Doug the Retirement Guy here. We have a review of the weekly YieldMax ETF group number 1. Who's the best? Who has the best income? We share it all. So let's get into today's video. Notice to all viewers, past performance does not guarantee future results. This information in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, and if you're looking for financial advice, always contact a professional. So let's take a serious look at the growth of the funds. Now, group 1 has always been the Weekly-Pay fleet, other than the 2 Dorsey Wright ETFs that they've added. Now, if you take a look at this week's performance, SALTY, SLTY, is the number 1 fund. It is up 0.08%. The rest of the funds are all down. The second place one will be CHPY. That's down 0.23%. And GPTY is only down 0.57%. When we take a look at the year-to-dates, the only one to really look at now is going to be CHPY because it's up 22.32%. Everything else is on a downward trend. I will continue to make note of ULTY, the performance that they have done. You see a 3.36% drop in their price over this past week, down to a $4.76 price. Now, when we take a look at the distributions, if you take a look, the number 1 who paid the most was LFGY, the crypto industry tech portfolio. Paid 55 cents this week. It's down from last week, which was 59. The second place is going to be SLTY. They were at 62 cents last week. They were at 54 cents this week, down, but still a very decent dividend payout. The third place will be FEAT, the Dorsey Wright Featured 5 Income ETF, and that will be 53 cents, up from 35 cents from last week. When we take a look at the distribution rates, the number 1 fund is FEAT, the Dorsey Wright Featured 5 Income ETF. The second place is now ULTY, and that's at 83.56%. When you look at their dividend, they have dropped below the 8-cent price. They are now 7.88 cents as the new dividend. That is an all-time low for ULTY. And then finally, the third place is LFGY at 81.27% distribution rate. Now, the return per week. This one here, we always want to try to find a fund that will be paying out 1.6 or higher. And you take a look at, they have 3 funds that meet that criteria. The number 1 fund is FEAT, the Dorsey Wright Featured 5 Income ETF at 1.72%. The LFGY comes in at 1.60, and ULTY still holds in there at 1.67 because of the low price for the fund and the 7.88 cents of dividend. One to make note of will be YieldMax. And that one there paid that 17 cents, put it just below our target to 1.45%. Now, return on investment. This one here, we're always trying to find a 1 year or less. When we take a look across the board, everything from YieldMax is all above 1 year. The best one that they currently have will be FEAT at 1.12 years. The next one comes into will be ULTY at 1.15. There's a lot of notables out there, but overall, everything is going to put you well over 1 year run return on investment. And for weeklies, in my opinion, That is just way too long to wait. So now we take a total return, and this is what you really always need to focus in on. Don't focus in on just the distribution rate, because those numbers change all the time. The yields will change all the time. So what you have to focus on is your total return. So that total return will be your distribution rate plus your growth or less your growth for a total return. The number one fund from YieldMax right now is CHPY, the Semiconductor Portfolio Option Income. It has the distribution rate of 40.30%, and it had a year-to-date growth of 22.32% for a total return of 62.62%. Second place is going to be the Dorsey Wright Featured 5 Income ETF, FEAT, 86.05% distribution. Now, I know the NAV is down 32%. That still gives you a 54.05% based off the current numbers. And in third place will be LFGY with a 81.27% distribution, a NAV loss of 27.96% for a total return of 53.31%. The crypto industry and tech portfolio has had some decent runs, in my opinion, this past week and this past month. So it's a very interesting portfolio to look at. When we go down the piece, and that is ULTY, had an 83.56% distribution rate, but the year-to-date growth is down 47.07%. Its total return now is down to 36.49%. That number continues to drop week in and week out. One other one to make note of is YieldMax, the Universal Fund, 75.09% distribution rate. The NAV loss is 28.68% for a total return of 46.41%. That one just seems to be hovering at that same number week in and week out. Now let's take a look at the funds I'm adding and subtracting from my personal portfolio. And that is, as you probably know by now, I have dropped my ULTY because the drop of the dividend, the NAV drop, and the assets under management drop. Everything from ULTY has lost its luster to me and is continuously driving farther and farther into the red. Now I am also adding to my YieldMax portfolio. We are adding more shares, some of it coming from ULTY, but we are adding more shares to the YieldMax because of the distribution performance. The NAV seems to be fairly stable currently, and definitely the assets under management have been definitely stable across the board. Now the one that we are going to look at, and we're going to put some extra time into, is FEAT. The dividend performance is interesting to me. The NAV stable, that's very interesting to me. And then the assets under management of the stabilization of that. We will put more effort into looking at that fund across the board to see if that one's going to fit our portfolio.
Thank you for watching. Press the like button, hit the subscribe button, and join. Leave any comments below and join our Patreon to support the channel. I'm Doug, the Retirement Guy.